Hey, real quick, I wanted to show you an example or possibly a workaround of how to send things like attachments or files to an external API in Adalo. In this case, we'll be sending an attachment through the Xano API and then just storing it in the Xano database. So let's actually start out in Xano first. And here in my merchant table, I just have an attachment field here called file. Um, Basic table, but if you wanted to get to there, you would just do storage and then you could add attachment metadata. Anyways, let's jump to our API here. And in my test API group here, I have this upload attachment, which is one of our content upload APIs. To get there, you would just hit add API endpoint, upload content, and then you would select between image, video, or attachment. Anyways, let me click into this endpoint because I took it one step further. I added this add record so we can actually store this file in our database instead of just creating the attachment from our input file here. And all I did to do that was I mapped that field file, which is an attachment field, to this variable called attachment so that we can actually store that in the Xano database. Okay, so now let's go look at Adalo. All I have here on this home screen here is this file uploader and this button that saves it. And this is going to actually perform a custom action that sends this file through the API so we can store it in the database. So how did I do that? Let me go ahead, move myself over to the right here. So with this button here, you can see I have this click this custom action right here called send file. I'll create a new one from scratch. So I'll actually go ahead, let me delete this and I'll add a new one so you can see. So I went to add action, custom action, and then new custom action. And we'll call this send our file. The type is going to be create because we are creating a record with that file in this case. So next. Okay, Adalo's asking me for my API-based URL. So if I jump back to Xano, I just click that button, it copies it to my clipboard. I'll simply just paste that here. Our method is a post. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an input, and I'm just going to do a text field. And because Xano is super smart, we can input instead of a file resource. Xano also accepts URL. In base64 encoded files. So I'm going to do a URL here. I'm going to get an example value. I actually just have this example image open. I know we're doing attachment, but just for this test, I'm just going to pass through this image. I'll hit done here. I'm going to just grab the body real quick from Xano. I'm going to go ahead to run and debug here. Let me just copy this example JSON. Come back to Adalo. Here in the body, I'm just going to paste that in, and right in between these quotation marks here, I'm going to hit the add the magic text, and that'll be my URL input. So now if we hit run test setup, you can see the test was successful. We get our full response back. In this case, it's our new merchant record. Great. So I'll save this custom action here. Okay. And now we want this input to actually be dynamic. So what I'm going to do here in this URL input, I'm going to hit that magic text. I'm going to go to form inputs. There's my file picker, and I'm just going to select the URL in this case, and I'll hit done. Okay, let's go ahead and actually preview this. So let me remove that. I'll choose a file. I'm actually going to choose that same PDF file, but it wasn't already in my database as you saw earlier. So if I hit save, I don't have this page going anywhere, but that initiated that custom action. So if we jump back to Xano now and go to our database and go to merchant. So here was that example image that we passed in, and now here is my file. Okay. So I could actually click this and I could actually download this. I don't know if you can see it, but it starts downloading at the bottom of my browser here. And we would have that attachment.